Imagine you're about to go to bed. Do you want to spend the next 5 minutes thinking, I can't do it, or I can do it? Would you rather tell yourself, things will never work out for me, or things must work out for me? Think about it. Do you want to focus on what's wrong, what's making you angry or unhappy? Or do you want to think about the things that will bring peace and happiness into your life? How you spend these 5 minutes matters. If you spend them focusing on everything that went wrong in your day, the things that upset you, the things that didn't go your way, or all the negativity you encountered, you'll carry that energy into your sleep. While you sleep, your subconscious mind is still working. That's 8 hours, a third of your day, spent with your mind marinating in negative thoughts and feelings. What if instead you use these 5 minutes to think about what you want to create in your life? What if you think about how things can work out, how you can find solutions, and how good things are possible? By programming your mind this way before you sleep, you prepare yourself to wake up feeling more positive, ready to face the day with a mindset that looks for opportunities rather than problems. Your subconscious mind will align with these thoughts, and you'll attract more experiences that match what you desire. Remember, our thoughts shape our reality. This idea comes from teachings like A Course in Miracles, which says we live in a world touched by a kind of madness, one that often fills us with ego, fear, and doubt. The mission is simple. Live in a way that shows you're not controlled by your ego or the world's negativity. It's about choosing a different path, one that leads to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Here's an idea from A Course in Miracles, The Memory of God. This idea of remembering where we truly come from is something we need to tap into. It's not just about going back to the day you were born, but all the way back to that first spark of life, that moment when you came into being from non-being. Every one of us has that moment, and it's important to try to remember it because, according to the Course, the memory of God comes to a quiet mind. When your mind is filled with conflict, anxiety, or stress, it's hard to remember this inner peace, this eternal gentleness that is always there. You see, what we remember is a part of who we are. And because of that, it's crucial to let go of all the chaos and noise around us, to find that stillness, and in that stillness remember our true essence, the spark of God that is within us. If you can find that peace, what I'll be writing about in the future is reaching a higher state of being. I spoke of that inner spark in him that made him different, that wouldn't let him just blend in with everyone else. That spark is not just a random thing, it's something deep and powerful. It's like what Shakespeare wrote in Henry V, where the king says, "My crown is in my heart, not on my head." This means true greatness, true contentment comes from within, not from what we have or how we appear to others. Knowing who you are means recognizing that you are perfect, that you have an intuitive and all-powerful nature. It means understanding that you can attract miracles into your life. It's about realizing that who you are is not defined by what you own, what you do, or how you compare to others. Who you are is a divine spark, and when you fully realize this, you can attract and create anything you focus on. But remember, this isn't just about getting more things or filling your life with stuff. In fact, the more you are attached to material things, the further you get from this divine connection. You came from nothingness, and eventually you will return to nothingness. The greatest gift you have is your imagination. As Thoreau said, if you advance confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you've imagined, you will meet with success in unexpected ways. This idea is similar to the story of the kitten chasing its tail. The kitten, fresh from cat philosophy school, believes happiness is in its tail and that if it can just catch its tail, it will find happiness. An older, wiser alley cat hears this and says, "I also learned that happiness is in my tail, but I discovered that when I live my life fully and follow my heart, happiness follows me wherever I go." The lesson here is simple. When you stop chasing and start living true to yourself, everything you desire will naturally follow. If you detach from specific outcomes and follow your passion, the guidance you need will come to you. But this only happens if you stay in alignment with how the universe, or God, thinks. It's about trusting in a higher plan and staying true to your inner purpose. Many of us struggle to rise above an ordinary level of consciousness because our mindset is often misaligned with the mindset of our source, what some call God, the universe, or the divine. Our source thinks in terms of giving, serving, and loving. It thinks, how may I serve, rather than what's in it for me. It asks, what can I do for you, instead of how much can I get. It focuses on, how can I share what I have with you? How can I help you? How can I wish for your happiness as much as I wish for my own, or even more? This shift in perspective is what brings true meaning to our lives. At the beginning and end of the shift, there is a quote from the Bushmen of the Kalahari Desert. They talk about two kinds of hunger, the little hunger and the great hunger. The little hunger is our desire for food and other physical needs, but the great hunger, the one that matters most, is the hunger for meaning. When we live a life without meaning, it creates deep unhappiness and bitterness. There's nothing wrong with seeking happiness, but there's something even more fulfilling to the soul than happiness or the absence of it: meaning. Meaning changes everything. Once you find meaning in what you are doing, whether you are happy or not becomes less important. You find peace and contentment within yourself. You feel connected to something greater than yourself, a sense of belonging to the universe. I know that I, and each one of you, have the power to create and attract whatever we focus on. This is because we are all a part of the divine. We all have that spark of God within us. If we think and act in alignment with this higher self, rather than being driven by selfish desires and greed, we can attract what we truly want. Remember, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Your life will mirror the energy and mindset you carry within you. One of the greatest gifts we have is our imagination. It's within our imagination that we must place the thoughts of what we wish to bring into our lives. Whether it's health, love, success, or peace, it all starts as a thought. Look around you. Everything you see, from the clothes you wear to the chair you sit on, the building you are in, and the screen you are reading from, everything started as a thought in someone's imagination. Everything was imagined before it came into existence. Just like that, we are all thoughts of God, and through our imagination, we have the power to shape our reality. To live a meaningful life, shift your thoughts from what can I get to how can I serve, and from what's in it for me to how can I give. When you do this, you align with a higher purpose, and life becomes richer, fuller, and more connected to the divine flow of the universe. If you understand that everything that has ever existed started as a thought, then you'll realize how important it is to focus your mind on the things you want in your life. You have to imagine yourself surrounded by the things you want to bring into your life. You have to see it in your mind and feel it in your heart. Constantly think about and picture what it is you want. Think about it this way. The law of flotation, the principle that allows boats to float, wasn't discovered by people thinking about things sinking. Similarly, airplanes weren't invented by people thinking about objects staying on the ground. They were created by people imagining heavier-than-air objects moving through the sky. They focused on the possibilities, not the limitations. If you only think about things going wrong, then that's what you will get. We fill our minds with thoughts of what we can't do. And then we're surprised when those things don't happen. It's like this example I often give. Imagine I give you $1 million, and you can use this money to buy whatever you want. So you go to a mall, and the first store you enter is filled with ugly old rugs. You say, I'll take 2 of those for $50,000 each. Someone asks, but you don't even like them. You respond, I know, but send them to my house anyway. Then you see another store selling awful-looking lamps, and you decide to buy 10 of them for $100,000. You go home, and now your house is filled with things you don't even like. You're puzzled and think, why is my house full of things I don't want? The reason is simple. You made choices based on what you don't want, instead of focusing on what you do want. You were given a currency, in this case money, but think of it as your thoughts and attention, to create the life you desire, but you ended up spending it on things you don't want. This is exactly how our thoughts work. Our thoughts are like currency. They create our reality. If you spend your thoughts on what you don't want, guess what? You attract more of what you don't want. If you constantly think, I'll never be successful, or I'll never be happy, then those thoughts become your reality. But if you focus on what you truly want, if you imagine and think about success, happiness, or whatever you desire, you begin to attract those things into your life. So, the lesson here is clear. Use the power of your thoughts wisely. Visualize and feel yourself already living the life you desire. Keep your mind on what you want, not on what you don't want. When you do this, you align yourself with the creative energy of the universe, and that's when amazing things start to happen. Never, ever focus your thoughts on what you don't want in your life. If you do, you are setting yourself up to attract exactly what you don't want. If you keep thinking about what's missing in your life, you'll just end up with more of what's missing. Even if you focus on the way things are right now, without wanting them to change, you'll get more of the same. Instead, use your imagination to create a clear picture of what you want to bring into your life. Hold on to that vision with all your might. That is the real secret to creating the life you desire. This idea is what Napoleon Hill called having a burning desire in his book, Think and Grow Rich. People who attract success and prosperity into their lives have this burning desire, and they never waste time thinking about what they can't have. They don't dwell on limitations or obstacles. They focus only on what they want to bring into their reality. People who reach their highest potential always keep their attention on what they want to manifest. The first step is to use your imagination to see clearly what you want to attract into your life. Once you have that vision, don't let it go. Keep it alive in your mind, even if it hasn't shown up in your physical world yet. The second step is to live from the end, rather than thinking about getting to the end. Living from the end means that you act and feel as if what you desire is already here. You carry yourself with the confidence and peace of someone who already has what they want. Think about it this way. When you were a kid, learning something challenging, like tying your shoes without using your hands, you probably kept a picture in your mind of yourself already doing it. Even if you struggled at first, you kept that vision alive. You acted as if you could already do it. That's the same mindset you need to have with any goal or dream. Keep imagining it as already done, as already achieved. The next and most crucial step is to hold the belief of your desired outcome as if it's already fulfilled. This idea comes from Neville Goddard, a great teacher who lived in California and passed away in the early 1970s. He wrote about the power of assumption, which means believing in something so strongly that it becomes real for you. When you assume the feeling of the wish already fulfilled, you're aligning yourself with that reality. First, you use your imagination to create a clear image of what you want in your life. Second, you live from the end, meaning you behave, think, and feel as if it is already true, already part of your life. Don't let the current reality distract you from this vision. Remember, everything you see around you was once just a thought, an idea in someone's mind. So hold on to your vision no matter what. Finally, the third step is to feel the wish fulfilled. This isn't just about thinking positively. It's about deeply feeling it within yourself. Where do you feel it? You feel it in your gut, in your heart, and in your mind. You must feel it in every part of your being. When you can truly assume this feeling, the feeling that your desires are already fulfilled, you set the stage for them to manifest in your life. Live as if what you want is already real. Some people might say you're living in a fantasy world or just being overly optimistic, but that doesn't matter. The truth is, using your imagination, Thinking from the end result and truly feeling like your wish is already fulfilled is a powerful way to attract what you want into your life. The fourth thing you need to understand, and this is very important, is that whenever you think about what you want to attract into your life, you have two choices. You can use subjective attention or objective attention. Objective attention is when you focus on what's happening outside of you. It's based on facts, data, or what other people are saying. For example, let's say you want to become wealthy. If you only look at external opinions or statistics, you might believe that it's very difficult or even impossible for someone like you to get rich. Now, subjective attention is about holding on to your inner vision, no matter what outside opinions or evidence might suggest. You have to decide whether to focus on what others say is possible or to trust your own inner belief. For example, the woman who told me she'd never get rich doing wedding photography on Maui could choose to keep believing that, based on what she thinks is likely or what others have told her. Or she could picture herself in her mind making a great living from it and keep returning to that vision every time the topic comes up. The same goes for anyone who wants to lose weight, find a great partner, or achieve any goal. Most people listen to all the negativity and doubts from the world around them. They let this negativity convince them that they can't achieve what they want, so they give up. Instead, you have to block out that negativity and keep going back to your imagination where everything is possible. You have to be persistent and unwavering. Negativity is everywhere, and if you're not careful, it can seep into your mind and take over. But if you keep focusing on what you want, imagining it, feeling it, and believing it as if it's already yours, you align yourself with the energy needed to make it happen. So always remember, focus on your inner vision and choose subjective attention. That's the real path to creating the life you want. I really love this story. A couple from Nebraska decided to visit New York City. Everywhere they went, they ran into what you might call the typical New York attitude, people who were fast-talking, direct, and a bit rude. This wasn't something they were used to, and it caught them off guard. The whole day they encountered this kind of energy, and it was wearing on them. By about 5 p.m, they realized they still hadn't seen the Empire State Building, one of the main sites they wanted to visit. Frustrated but determined, they approached a New Yorker on the street and asked, "Excuse me, can you tell us how to find the Empire State Building, or should we just go ourselves?" I love this story because it shows how, sometimes, we run into people who make us feel like we can't do things or don't belong. It's like running into a wall of doubt or negativity. You may experience this attitude not just from strangers but also from people close to you, like your family. That's why I like to say that friends are God's way of apologizing for your relatives. Even when your own family might doubt you or discourage you, you don't have to let their disbelief pull you away from the vision you have for yourself. Once you have a clear image in your mind of what you want, and you've started to feel as if it's already happened, you're moving to a higher energy level. At this higher level, you start to think in terms of all things are possible. I call this thinking with an awareness of God. In the New Testament, there's a line that says, "With God, all things are possible." Now think about that. What does all things are possible leave out? Nothing. It covers everything. This is a teaching found in almost every spiritual tradition. When you elevate your thinking and live from that higher place, you connect with the divine within you. You realize that you are all-knowing and all-powerful because it all begins in your mind. And when you have this awareness, you never let anyone else's opinions sway you from your path. Instead, you keep returning to that place in your imagination where what you want is already fulfilled. Now, the next step in this process is understanding the power of your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is an incredible force that controls most of what we do. Our thoughts, beliefs, and the way we perceive the world can actually change our DNA and genetic structure. Think about that for a moment. If our thoughts can influence our genes, do you think something like a diagnosis or a health condition can stand in our way? For instance, if someone is dealing with something like leukemia, they might think it's an unbeatable challenge. But when you understand the power of your mind and belief, even your genes can be altered. It becomes just another obstacle to overcome. Your subconscious mind is the place where all of your automatic behaviors and reactions are stored. It's like a computer that gets programmed over time. What's important to understand is that you can reprogram your subconscious mind. Just like a driver who mastered his route through practice and experience, you can train your subconscious by repeatedly focusing on what you want to create in your life. When you focus on positive, empowering beliefs and hold on to them, your subconscious starts to accept them as true. And once your subconscious believes it, your actions will naturally follow. So remember, when you focus on what's possible and elevate your thinking to align with the divine within, you can create anything. Your subconscious mind, when properly programmed, will support you in making it a reality. Keep your focus, trust in your vision, and don't let anyone else's doubts pull you away from what you know is possible. Think about when you get in your car. Who's really driving? It's not your conscious mind, but your subconscious mind. You don't think about driving the same way you did when you first learned. Back then, everything required focus. Every turn, every signal, every time you checked the mirrors. Your subconscious mind is incredible. It doesn't know the difference between what you're experiencing in reality and what you believe or think. To your subconscious, it's all the same. If you keep thinking, "I can't do this," then that becomes your reality. If you believe, "I can do it," even if your body isn't currently capable of it, your subconscious mind will start working to make it happen. The goal is to train your subconscious mind to be the guiding force in your life. You want to get to a point where you're on automatic pilot, always thinking about and attracting the right people, events and circumstances into your life. When you consistently assume the feeling of what you want, what Neville Goddard calls the wish fulfilled, you begin to turn abstract ideas into concrete things. Here's how it works. You start with an idea. That idea becomes a concept. The concept then turns into a condition. That condition becomes a circumstance, and from there it turns into a physical object or experience in your life. Essentially, what starts in your mind becomes the facts of your life. This process begins with the assumption that what you want is already real. So remember that your subconscious mind is always being programmed. If you're constantly telling yourself, "I can't do this," or "it's not possible for me to achieve that," your subconscious mind will believe it and act accordingly. It will find reasons to prove you right, explaining away all the things that have happened to you or why things aren't working out. But when you flip that script and feed your subconscious with positive, empowering beliefs, it will work to bring those beliefs into your reality. When programmed subconscious mind correctly, it will help you attract all the things you desire. So fill your mind with thoughts of success, possibility, and fulfillment. Your subconscious will take those thoughts and work tirelessly to turn them into the facts of your life. So now when you get into bed tonight, I want you to start reprogramming your subconscious mind. Why? Because your subconscious mind is controlling a lot of things in your life, including the things you don't like or don't want. So when you lie down tonight, knowing that you'll fall asleep in about 5 minutes, think about how you want to spend those last few minutes. Do you want to spend them thinking, "I can't do this"? Or would you rather think, "I can do this"? Do you want to focus on, "Things never work out for me"? Or would you rather tell yourself, "Things have to work out for me"? In those last 5 minutes, you can choose to dwell on everything that makes you unhappy, or you can start thinking about the things that will bring you happiness and peace. If you spend those final minutes before sleep focusing on what went wrong during the day, all the things that upset you, the negative thoughts, the frustrations, you're setting yourself up to marinate in that negativity for the next 8 hours while you sleep. Your subconscious mind takes over while you sleep, and it absorbs whatever you were thinking about before you drifted off. See, you spend about 1/3 of your life asleep. That's a huge amount of time to prepare yourself for how you'll handle the rest of your life. So what do you want tomorrow to look like? If you go to sleep thinking about everything you dislike, you're training your mind to bring more of those negative experiences into your life. The universe responds to what you focus on. So if you focus on what you don't want, that's what you'll get. But instead, you can use those last 5 minutes to think about your higher self, the best version of you. Picture that version of yourself as you fall asleep, and focus on connecting with that higher part of you. When you do this consistently, you can start to eliminate the negative, lower part of yourself altogether. Now, the highest point you can reach is when you start asking yourself important questions. For example, when things don't work out, ask yourself why. The key is that what you imagine and focus on has to feel natural to you. If something doesn't feel natural, it's going to be difficult to make it happen. For example, if you've been a certain way your whole life, like overweight, imagining yourself as someone completely different might not feel natural. You have to work on making it feel natural, and let's be realistic. If you're 5 feet something and weigh 140 pounds, becoming a linebacker for a professional football team is not going to happen because it just doesn't feel natural. Focus on what feels natural to you, especially in those last 5 minutes before sleep. That's when you're programming your subconscious mind to either help you achieve your goals or hold you back. Make sure you're using that time wisely. Now, to elevate your consciousness, you need to change the way you see yourself. Your concept of yourself is made up of all the things you believe to be true about yourself. But here's the thing. Those beliefs have gotten you to where you are right now. If you want to grow and change, you need to start believing new things about yourself. Now, people often ask me, is there a law of attraction? And I tell them, yeah, and you should be careful with it. If it's true that you attract what you think about, then you better pay attention to what's going on in your mind. It's not just when you're sitting there trying to manifest something with affirmations. Think about your mind throughout the day, when it's complaining, criticizing, or being negative. What if you're attracting that same negativity into your life? Now, about this whole thing with abundance and attracting what you want, is there really a law of attraction? How do you use mantras and spirituality to get what you want? Well, true spirituality isn't about wanting things. It's about being filled with joy from within and then sharing that joy with the world. It's not about pulling things toward you that you desire. So that life isn't about getting everything you want. Instead, it's about understanding that what you truly want is to stay open, to keep your heart and mind open, without putting any conditions on that openness. Now the question is, how do you actually do that? Can regular people do it? Or is it only something that special beings like Buddha or Christ can achieve? Well, the truth is everyone can do it. How do I know? Let me give you an example. If I asked you to lift 5,000 pounds, you probably couldn't do it, right? You've never done it before, and it's way beyond your ability. So it makes sense that you might not be able to do it. But if you're already doing something you do every day, and I tell you to stop doing it, you can always choose to stop because you're the one who's in control. Now, think about this. You're the one who closes your heart. When you feel hurt or scared, you shut down. You're the one who closes your mind, pushing away thoughts and feelings you don't like. Those are your thoughts, your emotions, no one else's. So if I tell you that the key to staying open is to stop closing off, that's something you can actually do. I'm not here to teach you how to open up. That's like chasing after what you think you want. Instead, I want you to learn how not to close down. There's a big difference between the two. If I said, open your heart right now, you might not even know where to begin. But if I said, when someone says something that bothers you, don't close off, you immediately know what I mean, right? You feel that urge to shut down inside, and I'm simply asking you not to give in to it. This simple practice can take you a long way. Don't focus on how to open up. Focus on not closing down. There will be moments in life, like watching a beautiful sunset, hearing a bird sing, or even getting something you've wanted, where you naturally feel open. That's wonderful. But the real work is in not closing off afterwards. Have you ever noticed how fleeting those moments of openness can be? You see a breathtaking sunset, and for a moment you feel deeply connected, like you're gazing into the face of something divine. But then, in no time, your mind pulls you back into your worries and problems. Why does that happen? Because we haven't learned how to keep ourselves from closing down. Once you experience that openness, you need to practice staying open and not shutting yourself off again. This is the real way to get what you truly want. Deep spiritual teachings guide you toward what you've always wanted, to feel love, joy, and happiness all the time. And if you can find those feelings within yourself, you can share them with the world. Life is incredible. We're sitting on a planet spinning in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by all these events. Don't stress. None of this will last forever. But while you're here, do you want to spend your time fighting with life, with people, with situations, and even with the weather, trying to make everything fit your idea of happiness? Or do you want to work on yourself so you can feel open and at peace no matter what? That's what spirituality is really about. It's not about trying to get things exactly right. That's already too late. When you're focused on perfection, you've already decided that you need something specific to be happy, and that's a trap. Deep spirituality is about realizing you don't need anything to be happy. This doesn't mean you don't do anything in life, but you understand that you don't need anything outside of yourself to feel whole. When you're open, there's a wellspring of joy, love, and inspiration inside you that just flows naturally. Pay attention. The moment something happens that you like, you feel joy instantly. But if something you don't like happens, you shut down just as fast. This reaction isn't teaching you about the outside world, it's showing you what's going on inside you. Openness is the key. Closing yourself off is what keeps you stuck. What you really want is to stay open. So what does it mean to be open? It's like opening the blinds in your house. If you keep the blinds closed, your house stays dark, and you'll have to run around turning on artificial lights to see. But if you open the blinds, you don't have to do anything. The light just floods in on its own. But you won't open the blinds until you're absolutely sure no one's outside who might see in, or that only the right people are in your house, and everything inside is exactly how you want it. You're scared to open those blinds because you don't feel safe or comfortable with what might come in. So, you end up with two choices. Either you spend your life trying to create artificial light inside, or you work on yourself so that you're okay with leaving the blinds wide open. True yoga and spirituality are about removing those blinds completely. Take them off the windowsill, toss them out, and never think about closing them again. Why would you even want to close them? Closing them only brings sadness and darkness. Think about it. What is depression? It's like being in total darkness, shutting yourself off completely. You've blocked the flow of energy. But why do that? There's no reason or excuse to close yourself off. This is your inner world, your mind, your heart. It's up to you to keep it open. Don't fool yourself into thinking that someone else will come along and magically keep your heart and mind open for you. You can't expect a job, a relationship, or anything else to fix that for you. Imagine going through life, building up all these experiences that scare or bother you, and then telling your partner it's their job to keep your heart open while you keep shutting it down. Sounds silly and counterproductive, right? That's because it is. It's your responsibility to keep your mind and heart open. Once you learn how to do that, they're yours to control, and when you do, you'll find joy in every moment. Yes, every single moment. From the minute you wake up, you'll feel inspired. You'll look forward to going to work, even if you've had the same job for decades. You won't ever get bored because there's this constant flow of energy inside you. You'll get the most out of your relationships because you'll be able to give the most to every moment that comes your way. Why? Because you'll become a giver, not a taker. Most of the time, when we interact with the world, we're looking for what we can get out of it. We want things to go our way, so we talk, dress, and act in ways that we think will manipulate situations to fit our desires. We think if we can control the moment, it will make us feel good. But someone who's learned to stay open all the time doesn't need to do that. They don't have to manipulate anything because they're already feeling the joy, love, and inspiration they need. So when a moment unfolds in front of them, they're in a position to give to it. They can take the joy and love they already have inside and share it with the people, places, and situations around them. That's what spirituality is all about. Imagine you're searching for that perfect relationship, like finding your soulmate. But the truth is, the most perfect relationship is right in front of you. It's called life. Life is the perfect match for who you are. That's why you're here, and life is happening the way it is. When you're in sync with life, you'll feel it, and you'll know exactly what to do. I'm telling you, once you get this, you'll never struggle with decisions again. You won't be anxious or unsure because you'll be in tune with the universe. Now imagine you're out on the ocean riding a surfboard. How do you know when to go up or down? You don't have to figure it out. The wave does it for you. You just ride the wave. When the wave goes up, you go up. When it goes down, you go down. But what if you decide you want to go down when the wave goes up? You'll fall. If you try to go up when the wave goes down, you'll fall again. That's what happens when you try to force things instead of flowing with them. The key is to be in harmony with the wave, and then you'll naturally know what to do because the wave, or life, is guiding you. It's not using words, but it's showing you the way. It's saying, go this way, go that way. You just have to feel it and move with it. This is what Lao Tzu talked about in the Tao. The way you ride a wave is the way you should ride through life. If you're not caught up in wanting things to be different from how they are, then you're in harmony with what is. The moments in life know where they're going. They're part of a bigger flow that's moving through time and space, and your role is to experience and participate in that flow. You don't have to force anything. It's happening, and you're moving along with it. When you start living like this, you'll notice something amazing. People around you will say, "Wow, you're so good at everything you do." But the truth is, you're not really doing anything in the way people usually think. You're not actively trying to control or manipulate life. You're just being in sync with it. This is the deepest teaching you'll ever come across. It's like you're on the ocean, and the ocean is doing its thing. It might look like you're doing something, but really, you're just riding the wave, going where the ocean takes you. This idea is so simple that we often miss it. Let's say you're playing baseball and you want to catch a ground ball. You shouldn't be guessing where the ball is going to go. Instead, you should keep your eyes on the ball because the ball knows where it's headed. It might sound strange, but the ball and the forces acting on it are in perfect harmony with nature, so they already know what's going to happen next. That's why coaches always say, keep your eye on the ball. They don't say, keep your eye on your thoughts. They tell you to focus on the ball because it's in sync with everything around it. Even a religious coach would tell you that when the ball is hit, it's better to focus on catching the ball than to close your eyes and pray you'll catch it. The best prayer you can offer in that moment is that you stay focused and keep your eye on the ball. The same goes for life. When you come into harmony with the moments unfolding before you, you're not just watching life pass by. You're actively participating in it, in sync with everything around you. That's where the magic happens. You might wonder, why should I even bother with this? Well, if you've stuck around this long, you probably already know the answer, even if you don't realize it yet. These moments right in front of us are what matter. But let's say you don't like what's happening around you. It's not about liking or disliking. It's about learning to dance with whatever life throws your way. If you're out surfing and don't like the way the waves are moving, you're going to fall if you fight it. The same goes for life. If you resist what's happening, you'll struggle. Think about it. We're only here on this earth for a short time, just a few years in the grand scheme of things. And during that time, we only get to experience a tiny sliver of everything that's happening. It's like reading one word from the most brilliant book ever written and thinking you know the whole story. In reality, you don't know much at all. There are countless moments unfolding all around us, but we only catch a glimpse of what's right in front of us. What we see and experience is just a tiny fraction of what's really going on. So when you think you know something, remember this. What you actually know is almost nothing in the grand scheme of things. It's like looking at one grain of sand on a vast beach and thinking you understand the whole shoreline. The truth is, what you're aware of is statistically insignificant, practically zero, but because it's all you've got, it feels like everything to you. The best way to approach life is to sit back and realize, I'm a conscious being, and that's a blessing. You may not know how or why you're here, but you know you're here, and you're aware of the moment unfolding in front of you. There are billions of other moments happening all over the world that you'll never experience, but you don't need to worry about that. Your job is to fully experience the moment you're in, to treat it like the gift it is. Think of it this way. There are about 8 billion people on Earth, and each one of them is experiencing something different every single moment. That's their unique gift from life. Just like your moments are your gift. So you should approach each moment with a sense of honor, respect, and gratitude. You can sit in the moment and say, wow, thank you, this is what I get to experience. It's not about what you want or don't want or what you think should or shouldn't be happening. It's about recognizing that you're not the creator of the universe. You're just here to experience it. There are forces at work creating the universe. Whether you call them science, God, or something else, it doesn't really matter what name you give them. What's important is recognizing that it's not you. You're just here, picking up the moments as they come, and that's a pretty incredible thing. First and foremost, you've got to honor and respect whatever experience life throws your way. Start by recognizing that every moment is a blessing, even if it doesn't feel like it. When you're faced with something you don't like, instead of getting upset or trying to fight it, just see it for what it is, something that's out of sync with you, and then let it go. As Christ said, you must die to be reborn. What this means is that you need to let go of the parts of yourself that aren't serving you. Don't beat yourself up over your flaws or mistakes. Just choose not to engage with them. When you're constantly trying to fix everything and everyone around you just to feel okay, you're misusing your mind. Stop trying to control everything. Stop using your brilliant mind to create stress and dissatisfaction. Instead, focus on doing great things with your mind, not sick things. But you might ask, what do I do if I still don't feel okay? Well, the answer isn't in changing the world around you. It's in fixing what's inside you. You're not okay because you've been stuffing all your past experiences, all the discomforts deep inside of you. These unresolved feelings and memories are weighing you down. Life is full of uncomfortable moments, like seeing a rattlesnake coiled up and rattling. It's supposed to make you uneasy. That's the point. But that discomfort doesn't ruin your life. It's just an experience, and like all experiences, it's meant to be felt and then let go. Think of it like this. If you come across something that smells bad, you don't pick it up, bring it home, and keep it in a room just to remind yourself how much you didn't like it, right? No. You let that smell pass by, open a window, and move on. The same goes for negative experiences. Let them pass through you and don't keep them bottled up inside. When you let them go, you become a more complete person because you've truly lived through and learned from those experiences. This is what spirituality is all about, and it's also the best way to live your life. Spirituality and life are the same thing. They both teach you to honor your experiences and then let them go. That's the highest way to live and grow as a person. So instead of using your mind to avoid dealing with your inner self, start working with what's inside you. Don't let your mind dictate how you think things should be. It's tough, and it might feel weird at first, but instead of wanting things to be different, Focus on honoring and respecting the reality in front of you. That's the last thing you'll need to work on. Once you can do that, you've made it. Little by little, as you work on this, don't store up new issues. Instead, honor each moment, respect it, and then let it pass. And because you're not adding more to your emotional baggage, the old stuff you've been holding on to will start to come up on its own. And when it does, don't worry, just let it go too. You don't need any of that weighing you down. If something from your past bubbles up, don't push it back down. Instead, welcome it. Embrace it, even the worst of it. Relax as it comes up and release it, and it will eventually pass. Not all at once, but slowly, it will fade. And once you start letting go of all that old stuff, you'll notice a change. You'll feel lighter, more energized, and you'll wake up in the morning with a new sense of joy and peace flowing through you. When you go through your day, you might find yourself worrying about things that have happened or what might happen next. But imagine if instead of letting those worries weigh you down, you let something positive rise up inside of you, feeding you with energy and purpose all day long. That's how your life is supposed to be, full of something meaningful that keeps you going. In closing, let's bring the words of Patanjali. When you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all of your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends its limitations, your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, wonderful world. Hidden strengths, abilities and talents come alive, and you realize that you are a much greater person than you ever thought you could be. What this means is that in every moment of your life, you have a choice to make. You can either choose to be a host to God, letting divine inspiration and love guide you, or you can be a hostage to your ego, letting fear, pride, and doubt control you. The choice is always yours, and it's the choice that shapes the kind of life you will lead. Thank you for listening.